Hello everyone, this is Andy, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is go over some issues that you may encounter when playing your Final Fantasy game. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and go into how to play with your friends, basically on your server. So what I'm going to go ahead and start off with is Navicat. So sometimes when you open this, you may have some kind of issue saying that it's not going to show this screen, it's going to show the loading screen, and it's saying that SQL.dl or SQLite or SQLite file cannot be found or something like that. It's a runtime file. Basically, it just helps the application to run, basically. And if you could think of it as a train track, I mean, the train track isn't on it's having some kind of having some kind of issue, so the trains aren't gonna run, basically. So it's kind of the same thing with these DLL files. If you're not familiar with computers, the application is not going to run if it detects some kind of error. You can simply just try restarting your computer. Two, the way I solved it is basically, I don't know if I restarted the computer resolved it, but you can go into your Premium Soft. So it's my program files 86, Premium Soft, Navicat Lite. You can just actually go ahead and copy these two files here. And then what you're going to do after that is you're going to go into your C Windows folder. And you're going to copy, just paste them here, like so. I already have them there. As you see, I have two of the same files there, so I'm not going to do that to show you that. And also, you can see I actually have them there. It's not damaging anything. And you can paste them in here as well. As you see, I have them there as well. And after that, you should just try to run it again. If you have that error, just go ahead and restart the game. Restart your computer, and that should resolve that. The second issue that you may have is when let's say you start the server, you start everything, your Final Fantasy game, and what you might encounter is some kind of socket error. So basically, it looks kind of like this. It'll open, it'll go boom, and it'll say fail to connect to server. Not this one. Basically, if that happens, your server is not actually loaded. So you have to make sure you go into your Final Fantasy folder, make sure you start the server, or that issue may happen if your server isn't actually hasn't loaded up yet. So let me go ahead and just demonstrate that here. So I'll go and go over two errors here. So basically, you go into your wherever the game is, you go ahead and start it. So basically, if you load the game, so connect. So you actually haven't loaded this yet. And so if you haven't loaded this, it's not going to connect, and you're going to get that error. It's just going to shut itself down. Also, you may get the same issue if this here is going to load, and it's going to be loading zones. So you have to wait for it to actually fully complete. So what this is doing, actually, this is actually just pulling all the data from Navicat here. It's loading everything. And if that actually hasn't completed, and you try to open this, it's not going to run. You're going to have an error, basically. And so just also keep that in mind. Another issue that I was having is, I'm sure in some of the other videos you saw me playing, and you've seen this game here, Raid. So basically, Raid is sometimes uses the same port that Final Fantasy, my Final Fantasy private server uses. So if I open this game first and I attempt to open my Final Fantasy, I may have a socket issue. Sorry, not socket, but a port issue. So the port that we need for the game to actually communicate with the computer, it has to have that certain port. So if I open this first, then most likely I won't be able to run my Final Fantasy game until I restart the computer, or until maybe I close this and make sure it's the port is actually free. And there are ways of doing that. I will have to show those in later videos. Basically, you can find out which port is being used by which application within your computer. And that's very important because sometimes you may, like I mentioned in previous videos, you're able to have your friends connect to your server. And that's what I'm going to go over next, basically. So basically, if those ports are not open and they're being utilized by another application, you're going to have to free them up so that your friends can actually play with you. Because it's basically a way of them communicating within your computer, basically. Okay, so let me go back over here. As you see, this is completed, and now I'm able to load the game. So make sure this is actually fully completed, and then you're actually set to go. So as you see, it's binding, so port 54230. So that's the port that is actually needed in order for you to play, basically, this game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything in a nutshell as far as the errors. Another thing I actually wanted to go over here, just to think about, I was thinking about this earlier today. So when I connect to my server, let me just go ahead and just demonstrate that here. It's basically where I left off the last video. Let me just go ahead and type in my user information here. Let's go ahead and log in. So I actually switched this over to window mode. And I turned the sound off because it's pretty late at night, so I had to turn the sound off there. So let me go ahead and load this character, and then what I'll demonstrate is, let's see here, okay, there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate here is I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this. Okay, and as you can see, even in window mode, it's still running at 60 frames per second. I mean, the move is actually, I mean, the move speed is so smooth, it's crazy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually go, not there, let's see. Okay, here, let me open this here. As you can see, it's loading up this, let me see if I can pull this up here. At least in window mode, you're actually able to shrink the window. But if you see this loading screen here at the bottom, so it has like pretty much the default message here. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you how to change that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video. This is basically just to go over a couple errors that you may encounter. If you have any questions or if you have any errors yourself, please list them in the comments. And yes, we'll go ahead and see you in the next video. You guys take care. Goodbye.